Dr. Jake, let's start off with symptoms, okay? So when a woman over 40 comes into your office and she's struggling with symptoms like fatigue, weight issues, maybe it's weight going up or weight going down, she's got brain fog, she's struggling with anxiety, maybe some constipation. What are the big root issues that you see this falling into?
Yeah, so when I hear these symptoms, there's a lot of things that come into my head. So the first thing that comes into my head is we need to rule out hypothyroidism. So there's many different forms of hypothyroidism. We need to make sure it's a primary or secondary issue. Is it a conversion issue, like you're not converting your T4 to T3? Is it cellular hypothyroidism, like your thyroid hormone is not sensitive to your cells? So your thyroid is being produced, but your cells aren't taking it appropriately, known as cellular hypothyroidism. I'm also thinking about the adrenal glands. Are you making too much cortisol? Are you making too little? Or is the cortisol not getting into the cell appropriately? I'm also going to be looking at the gut health. Are you absorbing the appropriate nutrients? Do you have a dysbiosis? Is there a dysregulation of the immune system in the gut? Do you have leaky gut syndrome? Also, I'm going to look at mineral deficiencies, which are definitely related to gut issues, but you might not be eating the food that are giving you enough nutrients for your mitochondria to work appropriately. And I'm also going to look at certain other hormonal disturbances, like with imbalances of your estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and testosterone.
Wow. So it seems like, I mean, obviously with thyroid symptoms, it seems like, there's definitely still a lot of possibilities of thyroid issues, even if somebody's labs look normal. And I'm definitely interested in what types of testing later on that you could discuss that you would run to just rule some of those out. But it also seems like, yes, there's some other systems that could be either exasperating these symptoms, right? Other issues that could be exasperating these symptoms or contributing to them. And indeed, it's not thyroid at all. If you're listening to this video, right, and you're seeing yourself in more than one of these buckets, that's really common. It doesn't mean that you're broken or that anything like that. It just means that your body is giving you some, different data points to figure out what's going on so that you can address the issue and get better, right? So many of you may have had your thyroid checked and your labs did look normal. You might be hearing that it's just a part of aging. Dr. Jake, if someone is going through these types of symptoms, what can they do at home to better support their bodies to be able to hopefully address some of the issues that they're facing? And then what can they go to a doctor like you to, and actually like what kind of labs could they get? What kind of treatments could they get based on what it is that you find?
Yeah, so some things that you could do at home if you're experiencing some of these symptoms that might look like you have a thyroid issue, but you've done very detailed thyroid testing, is you need to make sure that you're actually getting enough sleep. That's very important. Making sure you're getting enough deep sleep, REM sleep, you're getting enough hours of sleep. Are you getting a restful sleep? You also need to be looking at your diet. Are you following a more anti-inflammatory diet? Are you decreasing refined sugar? Are you not eating as much dairy? Maybe you're not eating as much wheat or even taking wheat out of your diet, because these things can all contribute to those symptoms that you're experiencing there. Are you getting enough sunshine? Are you going outside in nature? Are you moving, exercising? And are you actually decreasing stress in your life? Those are some things that you can do at home to treat some of these symptoms that you're experiencing.
Okay.
But let's say...
Go on, Dr. Jake. Yeah, I was going to jump in. Okay, so they're doing that, and then they go to the doctor's office and see somebody like yourself. What kind of tests could you run to rule out if it's still a thyroid issue, even though they may have had some labs that said that they were fine? What other tests could you run on their thyroid to possibly see if it still is a thyroid issue that just got missed?
Yeah, big thing I'm going to look at, okay, you experience these symptoms, you came into me, and you're like, oh, the doctor said everything's normal. So now first I'm going to say, did you actually get the appropriate labs done? Did you get a TSH, a free T3, a free T4, thyroid antibodies, reverse T3? Because most doctors are just ordering a TSH. So I'm going to make sure that that's actually a full thyroid panel that you actually had done. Now, if you had all that and everything looks normal, I'm going to be then looking at other issues. So I'm going to look, like I said earlier, I'm going to look at your adrenal glands. I'm going to order a cortisol test. I like to do what's called a diurnal cortisol. This looks at your cortisol morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime. It gives me a really good look at what your cortisol is doing. It gives me a good look. Are you actually getting that burst of cortisol that you need in the morning? Are you decreasing that cortisol at night so you can sleep well? Or vice versa, your cortisol could be all over the place. Maybe you're making it too little all the time or too much all the time. So it gives me a good look at what could be related to the symptoms you're experiencing, the fatigue, brain fog, constipation, cold, losing hair, etc. All that could be related to that. I'm also going to be looking at doing some gut panels. So I like to do a comprehensive digestive stool analysis. This gives me a good look at certain bacteria that aren't supposed to be there, viruses or parasites or funguses that aren't supposed to be there. Tells me if you're actually digesting your food appropriately. Tells me about inflammatory markers in the gut. I also like to order many times a SIBO panel, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Are you making bacteria that make too much methane and hydrogen gas, which can then affect your gut function and how you absorb nutrients and your inflammatory marker, and that all affects your metabolism. I'm also going to be looking at certain chronic infections. I see this all the time with people that have a lot of fatigue and brain fog. It's related to certain viruses or bacteria. Some of the big ones I like to order for are Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, chronic strep, and mycoplasma pneumoniae. Many times I like to look at Lyme disease. I also like to look for mold, even if you live in a dry climate. Like I live in Utah. I see mold issues all the time. Just because you live in a dry climate doesn't mean you don't have mold issues. So I like to look at certain mycotoxins. And then I order some nutrient deficiencies like of B12, of folic acid, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, because these could be related to the symptoms you're experiencing too.
So once you've done this and let's say, you do discover that they've got some thyroid issues, what are some possible treatments that you do for somebody who it turns out that they do have thyroid issues? Now, I know that there's a gamut of thyroid possibilities, but if you could just give like a basic overview of how you would treat somebody with a possible thyroid issue, what would that look like?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different approaches, and it all depends on what type of hypothyroidism you have. So if you have primary hypothyroidism and your thyroid is just not making thyroid anymore and it has been shutting down, we need to give you thyroid hormone. Many times I'm not just giving levothyroxine like most doctors do. Sometimes that is the best choice because they're converting their T4 to T3 just fine. But in my experience, I see a lot of people don't convert the T4 to T3 appropriately. So you want to do a T4, T3 combo. Many times that's going to be through some type of glandular like NP thyroid or Armour thyroid or nature thyroid. They recently took that away, but that sometimes comes in and out. So those are some glandulars that I really like to do. Sometimes a glandular isn't good if you have like an autoimmune thyroid condition like Hashimoto's thyroiditis. There's a lot of debate if doing a glandular can make it worse. So I usually compound a T3, T4 combination in a compounded pharmacy. So those are some medications I do for primary hypothyroidism. But let's say it's like cellular hypothyroidism. Your thyroid isn't getting in the cells appropriately. Many times this is related to chronic inflammation and chronic stress that's being placed on the body. So this is a big area and it's a lot going on, but usually anti-inflammatory diet or improving nutrient status, treating the chronic infections that might be going on, treating the gut, etc., are related to the cellular metabolism when you go after all that. And sometimes I do prescribe high doses of T3 to sensitize the cells to T3 so you actually get the lab thyroid going in there appropriately. So I do that for some patients. Also, if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is very common, 80% of people that have hypothyroidism do have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition of the thyroid. We need to work on decreasing the inflammatory process in the thyroid. First, we need to identify the causes, which could be foods. The most common one I see is gluten or dairy. It could be related to leaky gut syndrome or infections in the gut, or it could be related to other chronic infections or toxic exposures. It could be related to other hormonal imbalances that could be causing the Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So that's a very big topic, and we'll talk about that in a future date specifically on Hashimoto's. But that's a quick overview of what I do to treat someone that has thyroid issues. Now, maybe they don't have thyroid issues and it's something else. Then we're going to look at the adrenal glands, hormonal regulation. We're going to help work on their sleep and help them get appropriate sleep, work on the chronic infections, eliminate toxic exposures, etc.
Wonderful. Now, Dr. Jake, obviously with a doctor like yourself who's well versed in this and is able to really see what the possibilities are and what you would do. Wonderful. For patients who are listening to you and they want to be able to go to their doctor and not get brushed off in a 10-minute visit, what would you recommend that they say to this doctor so that the doctor really takes them seriously?
So I'm actually going to put a script on the screen so you could talk to your doctor like this. So it comes like this. I'm a, let's say, 38-year-old woman, and for the last X time, I've noticed specific pattern of symptoms. Or another sentence you could do is, I'm concerned this could be related to system, hormones, thyroid, gut motility, meds, timing, etc. And I'd like to work with you to rule out anything serious and look at maybe a full thyroid panel, maybe look at a chronic infection panel, looking at the cortisol that we talked about, the diurnal cortisol test, looking at the gut microbes, like doing a comprehensive digestive stool analysis or a SIBO test or a food sensitivity panel, and lay that out for the doctor so they know what you're looking for. So me as a doctor, I would love to have someone come in and what they want out of the visit, and you could actually get a very productive visit coming in with these questions. So I'm going to give you a specific script that you could give to your doctor so you could get the best out of with your doctor, and it can be very productive for you. So here's some things that you can say. I'm a 40-plus-year-old woman, and for the last X time, I've noticed a specific pattern of symptoms. And you can say, I'm concerned this could be related to my thyroid, and I'd like to work with you to rule out anything serious and look at a detailed thyroid panel like we talked about, or other things that could be related to the symptoms that I'm experiencing, like at the other labs that we looked at, maybe a diurnal cortisol, a gut pathogen test, or a comprehensive digestive stool analysis, a SIBO test, a food sensitivity panel, looking for chronic infections like Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, chronic strep, mycoplasma pneumoniae, to rule out why I'm experiencing the symptoms I'm experiencing.
So you can obviously tweak the details to fit your specific symptoms, right? Your specific symptom pattern, how old you are, how long you've been noticing the symptoms, and so forth. And then you just plug in this template, what we've talked about today from this video. Okay, so let's recap quickly. If you're dealing with fatigue, weight gain or weight loss, brain fog, anxiety in your midlife, constipation, you're not broken and you're not just aging. Dr. Jake walked you through 5 main issues that this can fall into. Definitely thyroid issues still, even if your labs seemed normal. And he talked about how you could figure that out. He brought up other possibilities like adrenal dysfunction, gut dysbiosis, nutrient deficiencies, and hidden infections. You know what you can do at home to make sure that you're taking care of your body and are helping these symptoms not get worse or even actually get better by improving your sleep, your stress, making sure that you're getting plenty of sunlight and eating a good, healthy, anti-inflammatory diet. And you've also been told what type of tests that you can ask for at the doctor's office to rule out whether or not it really is a thyroid issue, because there are other things that they could be looking at and other tests that they could be looking at to rule out other possible systems that could be giving you these symptoms. And Dr. Jake even gave you a script that you can use so that you can bring it to the doctor and not get brushed off in a 10-minute visit. So really hope that this was helpful for you. If you want to actually talk with Dr. Jake, you do not have to live in his area to be able to actually see him. He does do virtual visits, and we do have a link in the description box below to a 15-minute call, free 15-minute call with him to just talk a little bit about what's going on and see if it's a right fit to be able to actually move forward with a more at-length consultation and some possible tests and so forth. And if you're interested in any of the thyroid glandulars that Dr. Jake did bring up, he does actually have a very high quality supplement line over at shop.integrativemedica.com. And if you use the coupon code Dr. Jake, you'll actually get 15% off. Dr. Jake?
Yes, if you want to learn more about thyroid testing specifically, click my video to the right. I'm Dr. Jake, and I'll see you there.